Hello everyone and welcome to Cover 2 TV. I'm Ste.
I'm Chris Pajak.
You are Chris Pajak. And Chris, what we're going to do today on today's show, we're going to talk about all the quarterback, the quarterback carousel that's happening at the moment. There's injuries, we've got benchings, we've got all kinds going on. It's kind of, before the season, it looked like there was a lot of, like every team pretty much bar maybe Miami was, and maybe the Redskins, although that they've got a youngster to come in, were kind of settled on where they were going to be. And within 2 weeks we had Andrew Luck retire, we've had injuries, Eli's been benched. It's been flipped on its head quite quick.
It's absolutely mad, and I think the NFL might have a bit of a quarterback issue at the moment, and you know, it's mad considering how much they protect quarterbacks overly at times as well. But I think, you know, New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees going down, that's massive. But I think they're in the best situation to still make the playoffs with Teddy Bridgewater. Obviously Breeze is due back in about 6 weeks or something, isn't he? It looked almost innocuous that as well, didn't it? You know, Aaron Donald goes in and takes his thumb, and then all of a sudden it doesn't look like he's going to be playing the rest of the game, and you're a bit surprised about it. Ben Roethlisberger's done for the season. That's massive.
He might be done forever, to be honest.
Well, he's already talking about coming back next year and playing out his contract and stuff, which is it's crazy. You got Eli Manning there as well, who looks like he might get traded, which is a mad thing because he's got 1 year left on his deal and he wants to play on. And there's quite a few teams that I think might have a little go at Eli, which I think is both strange and insane, if I'm honest. So there's all kinds going on, Steve. You know, it's madness at the moment, but it's thrown everything wide open. But it may also have made the Super Bowl easier for the Patriots to win.
Yeah, I was going to say, everything's looking rosy if you're a contender. Let's start then New Orleans. We'll go through these one by one. You mentioned there they have got a good quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater. I'm not going to judge him solely on one game because he was the backup. He's not game plan. You've seen him a lot, obviously, as a Vikings fan. He's not Drew Brees. I understand that he's not going to ever be Drew Brees, but can he fit into what their offense is? Because for me, he gets the ball out quick, or he can. I do that he didn't, but I think it's you can almost give him a mulligan for that one. With a week to prepare, do you think he is? And do you think secondly, is he the right option over, say, they've got Taysom Hill there as well?
I think he is the right option. I think he's more of a conventional quarterback, isn't he? I think he's a better thrower of the ball. I think he sees the field better. He's a Pro Bowler. You know, he got to the Pro Bowl when he was at the Vikings and stuff. So he's a guy that I think has so much potential. He's been groomed to be the next in line after when Brees retires anyway. I think it tells you a bit about him that he was willing to do that after obviously he had a big injury and stuff like that. But I think that the thing, I'll give him a mulligan as well, Steve. And the reason is I just don't think he was getting any reps, and there's ring rust there. You can see that. Yeah. Was it Tom Moore said to the old offensive coordinator of the Colts when Peyton Manning was there? I remember him speaking to John Gruden one time. And I've obviously read this a while ago. I'm sure it was John Gruden when he was working as an analyst for Monday Night Football and stuff. And Gruden said, "Why aren't you giving anyone any reps?" And he turns around to him and goes, "Because if number 18 goes down, we're fucked. And we don't practice fucked." That was the quote that he gave. And I'm pretty certain, like, I know Sean Payton does like to get Taysom Hill involved, but when it comes to reps with the first team, you know, the starters, then Drew Brees was getting all of them. And you know what it's like? It's like coming out of college against Steve, isn't it? I mean, they always talk about the game slowing down in your second season. Well, you can forget all that with Bridgewater. He was thrown in against that offensive line with Donald and stuff like that. It's just a really tough place to go into.
And you're playing Drew Brees' game plan. Yeah. You're not playing the Teddy Bridgewater game plan, and Bridgewater, he's got different skill sets. So now they've got a week to prepare. I trust Sean Payton to come up with a plan to get, Teddy Bridgewater, probably a bit more mobile. Hopefully, again, if his knee's better. He's a different player than Brees. And Brees' game is a lot of checks at the line, changing the play. Again, for someone to just waltz into a game and do that, it's hard. So I think I agree they're in good shape, and I think they're right to go with Bridgewater. I saw a lot of Taysom Hill, and, when the coach says, he's the next Steve Young, well, he'd be playing. If he would have been number 2 on the depth chart. So maybe that was just him blowing smoke up Taysom Hill's ass. I do think we'll see more Hill. I think we'll see more plays.
He looks quite good in the slot. He genuinely looks quite good in the slot.
I think you'll get more of him under centre, and maybe he throws it, I don't know, but I agree they're in good shape.
He's got a feeling, for me, if he does continue to play more of the slot and less the wildcat and stuff like that, then he feels a bit like Edelman. Because Edelman was a quarterback, wasn't he?
Every now and then he can just you can run it straight off him.
Yeah, you can do a mad little trick, but equally, I think having played the quarterback position, you instinctively know what the quarterback needs in crunch situations, and that's why Edelman's been so good for Brady. He played the position to a high level, and when it comes down to it, makes himself open and available. And I think Taysom Hill's got a little bit about that too.
The next one, let's move on then. Ben Roethlisberger, probably another Hall of Famer. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. Like I say, his elbow's gone. He's done for the season. Again, he has been talked about coming back, but I don't know. I think if you lose your elbow, I don't know, will it be the same when he comes back? We'll find out. But then you've got Mason Rudolph. I actually thought Mason Rudolph looked okay in the Seattle game, but that's a team now who they're 0-2. I mean, they're going to going to San Francisco now to face the 2-0 49ers. I mean, their season already 2 games in, it looks like a must-win game. I mean, if they go 0-3 without their quarterback, you can almost start writing the Steelers off already, which is strange to say at, a couple of weeks into the season, but we could be in that position.
Yeah, and I think Tomlin, we spoke about it last year and the year before. I think he's at the end of his Steelers tenure, if I'm honest with you. And I think, you don't want a coach to go down because a quarterback goes down, and you maybe don't judge him because of that. But the issues that franchise has had over the last couple of years, and the way he's not been able to keep things in-house, which was very much a Steelers thing for years and years and years, and the way the season does seem to be spiraling out of control now, I just don't see that he's going to be there for too much longer.
Especially because he's a defensive coach, and the defence is awful. It's been really bad. Now, what they have traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick, maybe he'll come in and make a difference. He's a really good player, so maybe he does.
But that says that the season's not over in his head.
In his head, and also what it means is, if Ben is done, you just give up your first round pick for next year. So maybe you do trust Mason Rudolph in that. If Ben comes out, listen, the likelihood is they're not going to make the playoffs now. You would think, again, Mason Rudolph might prove that wrong. But say they've just gave up what could be a top 15 pick next year somewhere to get Minkah. So they must either think Ben's going to be okay, or they're happy with what they've got in Mason Rudolph. And next year's going to be a big quarterback draft. Maybe it would have been the time to almost do the Colts thing of Peyton's gone down. We'll have one season where we just do what we play with these guys and see where we end up, and then get his replacement. I don't think the Steelers are ever going to be bad enough to get. Well, they're not going to be bad enough to get the first pick because Miami are actively chasing it. They're the worst team anyone's ever seen. But they could.
But you trust Miami to pick the right guy anyway?
I mean, I don't trust them to do anything at the moment. I don't know. But
so having the second, third, fourth, or fifth pick could work out all right for you. You know what I mean?
You just give it to Miami.
Exactly. So it's the thing that I don't understand about it. Of course they must trust Rudolph, but why not just give it a couple of weeks? Do you know what I mean? There's one thing trusting a guy, and there's another thing seeing how he performs in the NFL.
I like Minkah Fitzpatrick, and I think he is worth a first round pick.
But is he worth a top 5 pick?
And that's what the pick changes depending on why your team looks, and you've got to be thinking there's no way in years you can bank on that Ben's going to play next year. You just can't, because elbows, it happens in baseball. If your elbow goes, it very rarely comes back, and it must be bad because. You could see him, and he was literally wringing his hands if they wake my arm up, and he just couldn't go. So I think the Steelers are in trouble. I like Mason Rudolph, but I don't like their defense. At least with the Saints, I think they've got a good team around. Teddy Bridgewater, a better team. Mason Rudolph's walking into a team where good offensive line, good running back. Juju's decent. The rest of it looks a bit meh. I mean, Dante Moncrief's having an absolute shocking couple of weeks. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Cam Newton's the next one. Again, at time of recording, we don't exactly know 100% what's happening, but he had a foot sprain. You can tell he was injured because he didn't run on the goal. If you've seen the goal line play, he doesn't run. So obviously he's injured, because you don't try a Philly special with Christian McCaffrey. If Cam can get a yard, it looks like he's going to miss some time. I don't know how much, but that team to me looks like that they are built around Cam and McCaffrey and the threat of Cam and all that. I don't know much about. I think it's Kyle Allen the backup. I don't know a lot about him, but they look like another team who aren't set up to win without Cam. I think they look like they could be in big trouble as well.
Yeah, I think they could be. And listen, the injury, I think he's been carrying it for a little while anyway. I think you can tell that from his week 1 performance as well. I don't know whether he did pick it up in week 2 or not, but he didn't look like the same quarterback. McCaffrey, my concerns are that he's getting up to 25-30 touches a game at the moment, and he looks like he wants more. And right now, he looks like he can deal with it. But what happens if they do somehow make it to the playoffs? You're going to have your best player completely goosed. And unfortunately, like, as tough as he is and as good a running back as he is and as good as a pass catcher that he is, eventually the gas runs out in the tank. And, you know, I'm looking at it going, are the Panthers looking at this long term, or are they looking at this 2-3 years with McCaffrey? Because I think, you know, they need to be thinking he's a generational talent and he can go for 7-8 years, I think.
The difference is, again, they're 0-2. They've got a home game. So they've got an away game. They travel to Arizona, I think, to face the Cardinals. Who have been all right. They've been on and off. Obviously, they had the tie and stuff like that. But it all, again, 0-3 in that division. If who knows where that division is, because at the moment they're all 1-1 except the Panthers are 0-2. That division's now wide open, isn't it? Even if Carolina are 1-2 after this week, they're out of it, because that division's mad. The Falcons obviously got their win. The Buccaneers are, I don't know, a mystery to me. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on where they are yet. The Saints, like I say, they've got injuries. All of a sudden, the NFC South it's wide open. I mean, if you're Tampa Bay or Atlanta, you could be licking your lips thinking, you know, 2 of the 4 starting quarterbacks could be gone here for a certain amount of time. This is our chance to go now.
It is, certainly, and I think when you look at someone like the Atlanta Falcons, I think they can get it going. That's the difference. Whereas I think the Bucs get in there and they're probably one and done. You know what I mean? If they do get into the playoffs, but it's a big thing for them. So, you know, the Panthers, the Saints. I think the Saints still make the playoffs, if I'm honest. I'm not certain that the Panthers do now without Cam, because, as you say, it's that dual threat between the running back and the quarterback that makes them such a defensive nightmare to match up against. So you are licking your lips. The Bucs out. We'll be looking at this going, this is our time to shine and stuff like that. But the way that franchise has been run over the last few years, even if they do get in this year, I think they drop out again next year, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It is quite strange. On the quarterback theme, they're not an injury but a bench, and Eli Manning's career looks done, or at least for the time being. He's been benched for Daniel Jones. He finishes with a regular season record of 116 and 116, which is that's Eli for you.
Is it Hall of Fame worthy?
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he was that good. But 2 Super Bowl rings and the longevity, and his stats. He's high up in all the stats because he's played for a long time. He deserves credit for, you know.
He's high up in interceptions.
He's high up, but he's high up. You know, he played every game, didn't he? His starting streak was unreal.
It was his second longest starting streak, wasn't it?
So you know, until he got benched for Geno Smith, and then obviously he's been benched again now. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, because I still don't put the 2 Super Bowls on him. I put it on that defense, to be honest. And you know,
but he was outstanding in the playoffs and in the run up to it.
He was, and he's a good player. Listen, I wouldn't. If he does get in the Hall of Fame, I'm not going to throw my hands up and go, oh my word. I just don't think he was ever. I think to be a Hall of Famer, you need to have been the best or one of the best at the time. I don't think he's ever been that. No. Even when he won his 2 Super Bowls, there were 5 or 6 who you would put in the pantheon above him. But I think it's time for a change. I actually don't think he has been horrendously bad this year. But what he is, that team's bad. And he isn't able to elevate the team. He is, and he always has been. Eli is as good as the team around him. He's not his brother. His brother could make worse players better. You know, Tom Brady makes worse players better. Eli's never done that. He's kind of gone as far as the defense, pretty much. To how I always thought. Daniel Jones. I thought it was mad when he took him out before. I thought it was bizarre. I didn't think it again. I didn't see it, but again, I'm the guy who didn't see it in Pat Mahomes, so I'm an idiot. At least what he offers, Chris, is he'll move. He can run. It looks like we're heading to an age now where everyone wants mobile quarterbacks. If you look at the guys who are killing it at the minute, Mahomes, Jackson, Prescott, you know, Kyler Murray's look pretty good. You've got, obviously, Aaron Rodgers is good when he's on the move. Baker Mayfield's pretty good when he's there. It's only really Tom Brady the exception. It looks like everyone wants to go to this athletic quarterback where if you have to account for him in the running game or account for him moving and getting out of the pocket, that's kind of the cheat code to defences at the minute. You've got to get your quarterback on the move, because I don't think anyone really trusts their offensive lines enough to just stand in the pocket for 5-6 seconds. It looks like everyone wants a quarterback who can get on the move. And if Jones offers a bit of a threat, maybe it opens up more for Saquon. That's the only...
Yeah, maybe. I'm just going to bring you back to your point about the athletic quarterbacks. Everyone is moving towards it, but I don't think that if a Peyton Manning or an Andrew Luck or a Tom Brady, as he let's say as he was let's say if you knew what Tom Brady was going to do coming out of college, I think they still go for those guys.
You've got to be able to play from the pocket, haven't you?
I think the reason that we've gone to this athletic style quarterback is because there isn't those quarterbacks coming out of the draft, and because obviously the way the college game is played and stuff like that now, we may not see many of those come out over the next few years. But give me an outstanding pocket passer every day of the week, because what's the longevity in one of those quarterbacks, Steve?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about now? We're talking about Cam Newton, you know, going down with an ankle sprain and stuff like that, and, you know, peaked maybe 3 years ago, Steve?
Probably, well, his MVP season was certainly a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean,
actually,
what is the? Give me 15 years of a pocket passer, especially in this age where they're getting protected so well.
I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. I agree. The final quarterback change that we probably need to talk about then is after we recorded last year, but before the last game, Sam Darnold goes down with illness. He's got mono.
That's kissing disease, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. It's a young he is young, so maybe that's what it is. People in the early 20s tend to get it.
Younger than it, I think it's like teenagers normally.
But
obviously you can get it
and it can make you really sick as well. It's no joke. Like, they played Trevor Siemian, he goes down, he's done. They've had to go to Luke Falk now. I mean, the Jets were never, I don't think the Jets were ever going to win the Super Bowl, but there was talk
doesn't
that
sound like a quarterback to me.
Luke Falk and Daniel, well, the next one, Daniel Fales, he's his backup, and that's the headlines write themselves. But the Jets were never a
Falk and Fales. That's what the pair of them are, mate.
Falk and failures, yeah. It never, again, they were never going to win it, but there was just talk like, you know, that 6th seed in the NFC could be wide open for somebody. Bills, you were talking at the time, Jets, maybe Bengals, I don't know, but there was a lot of chase for the 6th seed was certainly on, and that, to be fair, those two, the Jets and the Bills, were probably the team that a lot of people fancy for one of those wild cards. I mean, this just kills the Jets now. They're done. It's a shame for them, because Le'Veon's look good.
Yeah, but imagine sitting out for a year, coming back feeling fresh and fine, getting to play with, you know, a top quarterback, or who may well become a top quarterback, and then, fucking hell, what was the point? It's just because I got paid, I've got no chance of the fucking ring here.
Yeah.
And that's got to be disappointing. But then, what is he about? Did he really think going to the Jets was about going for a ring?
No.
I mean, Brown going to the Patriots he's a tit, but it's about getting a ring on his finger.
Yeah.
And you understand why he's done that, don't you? Whereas Bell's just greasing his own pockets.
Let's talk a couple of other quarterbacks then. Not these are ones who are still going to play, and we'll look at both games ahead of last week. And I need to bring it up. My team beat your team.
You don't need to bring it up.
Okay, I want to bring it up. Sorry. Sorry.
Don't lie.
Talk to me about
the views. You're just lying to yourself.
Talk to me about the Kirk Cousins experience, because Kirk Cousins looks a good quarterback. But we've had this conversation off air. But the quote I said was like, whatever clutches, he looks like he's the opposite.
Shit, mate.
But he's not. But he's not, though. That's the thing. He's not.
But he is.
But
I've had enough of him.
In the big moments when the lights, and that's a get. You know, you've got your defense got torn to shreds. You were 21-0 down. You're coming back and you've done okay. Your running back is unstoppable. They can't tackle him. They can't stop him. Your passing's not great, but you've pulled off a few big plays. You know, you get to the red zone, chance to go up. And that's what Kirk Cousins does. He just throws.
1st and 10.
He just throws a terrible throw, intercepted, and they can't get the ball back pretty much.
What? Is Kirk Cousins ever the guy who can throw off his back foot?
No.
What's he doing?
Yeah.
Why is he... I just don't understand why he's doing that. And, like, I'd sit here and I... Generally speaking, when it comes to American football, I always give the benefit of the doubt. And I've seen Kirk Cousins for a year now, and I saw stuff with the Redskins that I thought I liked and stuff. But he is not good enough to win a Super Bowl. That's what it boils down to. And I think the rest of the team might be.
Yeah.
And we can only, unfortunately... I don't think our day is as good as 2 years ago.
No.
And because of that, I don't think we can win a Super Bowl because of the defense. I don't think it's good enough to be one of those defenses that wins you the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
you need the offensive side of the ball to go as well. Dalvin Cook, maybe.
He is, yeah.
But you need your quarterback in the... I mean, for goodness sakes, that one in the 4th quarter, that interception there, we've ran the ball 60 yards down your throat and there's nothing you can do about it. Take the sack. Just throw it away. Yeah. That's what you need to do. And running at them on 2nd down. Because you've not been able to stop us. Not to mention the fact that I've never seen a game called so one-sided in a Vikings Packers game. I thought it was terribly called, and I think Cousins should be fucking embarrassed at the amount of money he's pocketing for making decisions like that. If I'm honest,
Is this his second year now?
Yeah.
So he's guaranteed one more because you guaranteed his contract, didn't you? So
4 million, 3 years.
yeah, it's guaranteed. He's pretty much over, all paid up, all guaranteed. So you got to keep him. He's there for 2 more years. I just feel like we've had this conversation about other sports. He's kind of like just good enough to get you beat.
Well, that's, you know, when you were talking before, and I mentioned that phrase to Paul about somebody else yesterday. I said, Steve's good enough to get you beat, and well, that's what he is. You're exactly right. He is just good enough to get you beat.
I felt.
But you know, there's other problems as well. The Dan Bailey thing. Now I know Stefan Diggs. It's a ridiculous thing to take your helmet off there when you've scored the touchdown. That has an impact on the extra point, obviously. But missing the field goal. I mean, that's poor again. And this isn't just one-offs. This is now 6, 7, 8 games into his Vikings career.
Years for years.
Yeah, years for us. But him into his Vikings, he was clutch at the Cowboys, wasn't he? And now he seems to have picked them up. And I don't know what's happened, but it doesn't seem to be right in his head. And I think that ultimately, when it comes down to kickers, I don't think it is about your physical attributes. I think it is about your friggin' head. And once it goes, it very rarely comes back.
The NFL have got a kicker problem. I think a lot of them are rubbish. Like, there's a lot of rubbish kickers about. Sticking on the quarterback team, we've gone through a few negatives, ups and downs.
Sorry, just on the Packers though, and the Vikings, like that, you know, Devontae Adams, it just seemed like every third down that mattered, he stepped up.
Yeah,
he's unbelievable,
yeah,
and I think, are you worried about how stop-start the offense has been?
Yeah, but I think what I've seen is that we game plan well, but then we haven't reacted to the defences reacting to us. Yeah. So in 2 games, I thought we looked okay at times. We started really slow against the Bears, but then we reacted and changed, and we went down the field like 3 plays, and then they changed it again, and we didn't do it. And speaking afterwards, Rodgers admitted, he said as much. He said we had them because we got through, and then they made adjustments, and then we didn't react well, or we didn't execute well enough. And there were plays to be made. I don't think Rodgers played particularly well. I think he took too many sacks that he didn't need to take.
Jones was brilliant. We struggled with Jones as well.
Both teams ran the ball well, but I mean, you got two wins in the division against a road team. Sorry, a road win against the Bears, and then a home win against probably the best team in the division. I think
it's a great start.
Yeah, there's more to come.
Alexander is a fucking baller.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's brilliant.
King's good. Safeties are good. Pass rush looks good with the Smiths.
And then he can drop back and fucking pick off Cousins as well. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and then we have
what was that throw, by the way?
That was a terrible throw. That was just
Rudolph's open. There's 3 lads on that one there. I'll throw it over there. Are you mad? Yeah. I mean, and a couple of fumbles as well for Cousins. It was raging about that. The worst thing, and I've not told anyone this yet, and I've saved this for the video. The worst thing is I wasn't able to watch the game live, so I was about 2 hours after the game started, so about 8 o'clock. So I've got my phone, I've pushed it aside from like 5 o'clock. I'm not looking at it at all. I do not want to ruin this for me. We put the kids to bed earlier. I get down, I've got my beer, and I think I had a glass of red wine as well. I sit down, my phone's still upside down. I'm not enjoying the game. After about fucking half an hour, I'm like, well, we're 21-0 down. It's about 10 seconds into the second quarter. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? Anyway, struggle through, continue drinking my red wine, continue drinking my beer, struggle through, carry on. I got a fucking notification. I take my watch off. I got a smartwatch, so I'm taking the notifications off on that as well. And I needed to check something, so I picked my phone up, and I've got the Athletic app, which is absolutely fantastic, by the way. Except I hate it now because of this. And what did we finish? 5 points, 21-16, wasn't it? We're driving down the field. 5 minutes of the fourth quarter left. I've skipped all the ads, and I'm very close to the end of the game, and I get this notification. And when you try not to read the notification and you throw it off the screen, one finger it, and I just caught 2 words: Vikings rally. And we're at like the 25-yard line. It's just before he fucking throws this, And I watched the rest of the game thinking we'd won. And I fucking went on. Vikings rally from 21 down to lose by 5 or so was the fucking thing. And I was raging. I'm like that with 20 seconds to go. We get the ball back and I'm thinking, he's helmeting it. And then he throws the ball. They steal and catch it. And then he throws it to Diggs and we're doing this. And I'm like, we're going to win. It's going to be the best play ever. And we fucking lose. And I'm like, fuck off!
I was the opposite. I had so much on Sunday, so I was watching it, but I was like doing all kinds around it. And with 21-0 up, when you get to 21-0 up, when, like for example, Sunday night, you mentioned, you kind of start just half paying attention, but you've got other things going on, like I'm getting the kids' lunches ready for school, so I'm kind of watching it on my phone and stuff like this. And every so often you just look and you think, we haven't scored a point yet. Oh, they've got a field goal, alright, that's hard. Oh, Dalvin Cook just ran the length of the field, okay, one off. Okay, we're not moving the offense, and then it gets to half time. I'm thinking something's not right, and you watch after that, and I'm thinking it'll be fine. Come out, adjustments, no, and we just stop, and we can't get anything going. And then when it got to 16, I thought we're going to lose because we it wasn't like we couldn't get.
Well, at that point, I knew we were going to win.
It wasn't like we weren't even. We never like scoring, but we didn't even look like getting in range to score, or we didn't look like, I don't know. We ain't even getting the first downs. It was kind of like 3 and out, or slowly, and mistake, fumble, a couple of fumble that you just can't have. And then when as soon as he drives into that red zone, I'm thinking, if we don't keep these to a field goal, we're in big trouble. My thing was, I think he would have kicked the field goal, so there was talk, if you got to 4th down there,
4 minutes 50, 5 minutes on the clock.
I think he kicked the field goal, and then he tries to hit another one. So I'm thinking, if we need the worst we get out, we need to get out with the field goal and just kill some clock, or get our own, or you know what I mean. But I didn't have faith that we would be able to do it. But so when he throws the pick, I thought at first it wasn't a pick, because I thought he dropped it, but it turns out his own mate kind of kicks out his hand at the end, so it was a legit pick.
It was, yeah. I'm not whinging about that.
But then we done well. We did kill the game. We killed the clock, and it was mainly Aaron Jones, a bit of Devontae Adams comes up big when you need him to.
Is that 3rd down and 6 maybe?
6.
And he does a curl route and just oh yeah, it's so irritating because it just sucks all the life out of you.
Yeah, you're done there. I thought,
and I think we'd had a timeout taken off us as well, hadn't we?
The challenge.
I
think the better team lost, but I mean you can't
argue with 21 points.
21 points
15 minutes, 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move away from us. There are a couple more quarterbacks I would like to speak about. What are you making 2 weeks in of the Lamar Jackson experience? Because there was talk. Really good. I mean, he can pass. I think there was any doubts. I thought his quote of not bad for a running back. Good quote. Because he can ball. Are the Ravens now a legit Super Bowl contender in the AFC for you?
I think.
Bear in mind that the Patriots and Chiefs are there as well, and they're going to play each other this week. 2 of them.
Yeah.
Are they your number 3 maybe?
Listen, I think they probably are. I'll be honest, I'm very close to picking the Ravens to beat the Chiefs this week.
Yeah.
Because they're just a bastard of a defence, aren't they? And if they can move the ball as well, and look, I know how good Mahomes is, but it's the NFL, upsets happen. And you're going through and you look at, I'm mainly, we're doing the pigskin, aren't we? And I'm mainly picking the favourites. And that one jumped out at me and I was like, I think that's a decent matchup there. I'll be watching that game, I guarantee you. And I've got a sneaky suspicion that there's an upset on the cards.
I think everyone got Baltimore wrong. I didn't pick them for the playoffs. I think I might have said they're going to be battling for it. No, in fact I did. I said they'd be a wild card. I didn't think they'd be this good because I thought they've lost players defensively. Listen, they've made some great signings, Earl Thomas, for example. But if the offense stays the same, defensively they get a little bit worse. They're going to be around 9-7. But for the first time, I can remember Baltimore are now an offensive team. The defense is really good, but the offense is carrying their team, which has not really ever happened before, and it's all because of Lamar. Miami put 2 spies on him two weeks ago, so he just didn't run. I was beating with my arm. This week he doesn't get that because he never done it the week before, and then he runs 120 yards on his own, more than anyone's ever done for young, God knows how long. And that's why they're so dangerous. You can't game plan to keep him in the pocket and pass. That's fine, you can do that, but he can beat you. Let him run and he'll beat you. It's one of those where it's almost like pick your poison, and I don't think the Chiefs are good enough to stop him. That game is just going to be maybe whoever has the ball last, or turnovers, or the bounce of a ball or something, because the Chiefs' offense is ridiculous, but I just don't see them stopping Lamar at the moment. It's going to be an interesting one. Before we start talking again, we'll talk about picks in a minute. The last game I want, or the last team I want to speak about, quarterback in particular, is Dak Prescott.
He's looking good as well, isn't he?
I mean, there's talk about MVPs and where are we and stuff like that. Again, 2 weeks in, it's far too early. But in a modern day offense, which they're now running there with Kellen Moore, he's starting to look like $1 million or $40 million that he's asking for. The Cowboys to me look like a real powerhouse now, and again, offensively, defensively, they look really well rounded.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everyone knows how high I am on the Saints and stuff like that, and I think last season Saints were a really, really solid all-round football team, and I think maybe the Cowboys are this season's Saints, if you get what I mean there. I think the defense is strong, the offense is strong, you got one of the best running backs, you got a quarterback who seems comfortable, you've got a safety blanket back in Jason Witten, who's picked up a couple of touchdowns in the last couple of weeks as well.
Randall Cobb looked good.
Yeah, Randall Cobb, you know, great possession receiver, as you well know. So I think they've got everything they need at the moment, and I just wonder whether the only thing that lets them down is the head coach.
But I don't know how much influence he's having now, because he's not calling plays anymore. Obviously, it's Kellen Moore's offense, and it looks like a modern day offense. It looks amazing. Like it almost makes you think how crap where they.
You've got to remember, this is unfortunately a guy who, you know, was a backup quarterback for most of his career.
Like 3 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, no, sorry, the head coach.
Yeah.
He was a backup quarterback for large portions of his career, and he has an ego. You know, he's been there 7-8 years now with the Cowboys. A couple of years ago, he's out there showing that how good a thrower he is of the ball. At some point, I feel that ego may get in the way, and he overrides a decision by Moore because he's the head coach, and maybe that's what fails him.
He could be the first NFL coach to win the Super Bowl and get sacked. So that because they wanted to, because
he wants the offensive guy.
Everyone else, because all the teams are going to come in for the other guy if he doesn't. Let's talk about picks then. It was mad. I won 11-10 last week, and it was literally our game. So you can blame Kirk Cousins for that as well. And your athletic for making you think you'd won. So that's why Brett Favre's jersey's up there for now. Now we'll run through these picks relatively quickly, Chris, just to go through. Jaguars again, no quarterback. Well, unless you count Minshew the second as a.
I'm not.
So
I'm not counting him. Titans, and they've looked good anyway.
Titans on the road.
Yeah.
Titans, yeah, fair enough. Well, they've looked alright, 1-1, yeah, maybe. I've gone Titans as well, but I'm not confident, I'll be honest. Seems to be a lot of drama around Jacksonville again, and I don't like it. Head coach arguing with his players, you've got Jalen Ramsey at time recording, wants a trade. It seems messy. It just doesn't seem like it's in a good place. We're both going to pick the Cowboys to beat the Dolphins, move on. The Bills are home to Bengals.
Bills.
The 3-0 Buffalo Bills. There isn't a team I want to be good more than the Buffalo Bills. I really want the Buffalo Bills to be
Why?
good. Because they've been so bad for so long, and I think...
Do you think this just still... They're just living in the Cowboys' shadow still?
I don't know what... you know what it is? They are just literally mad fans. The fact that teams still there, and there's been talk of moving it, and they haven't. I think they're really well coached, and I think they've just started...
You don't make a lot of mistakes, do you? They might not be quite good enough at times.
Defensively, offensively, Josh Allen still turns her over a bit much, but defensively...
You don't see loads of like stupid holding calls and PI that pulls things back. They're not a bad coach team in that regard.
Turnovers, they don't beat themselves. Listen, to beat Buffalo, for Buffalo to win, they might only need to score like 18, 19, 20 points, and you've got to, because they're defensively that good. So I want them to be good, and I think they will beat the Bengals, who kind of come down to earth last week. Eagles are maybe the most injured team in the world at the moment. Everyone apart from the quarterback might be injured. They play.
This is what happened on their Super Bowl run as well, though, wasn't it? I mean, they had so many injuries that season.
They are hosting the Lions.
Yeah, I mean they beat the Lions.
You still think they beat? Yeah, I've gone for the Eagles there as well. I've got Patriots beating the Jets. I think we can.
Yeah, I think we can agree.
On the Patriots, what do you make of this Antonio Brown stuff? Like, I don't want to go into what he's done, what he hasn't done, but do you think they were right to play him? Because I think it was bad. Yeah, I think there was no need. I just think again, our time recording, the investigation's ongoing, blah blah blah. Knowing that the investigation was coming and knowing that you're playing the Miami Dolphins, I think it's a bad look, because and again, don't know if he is or bad, but if something happens where Brown is guilty of something or he can't play for whatever reason, you almost tarnished by playing him. There are now images out there of him catching touchdowns from Tom Brady, and I think you'd have been better to say, you know what, let's just sit him down, because this could be really, really bad. We're going to beat the Dolphins anyway, I mean, because look who we're playing a college team. I think they were wrong to pick him. I don't think they needed to do it.
I agree with you, but it comes down to this for me, and I think this is... There's two reasons. I think Belichick is a winner and will do everything he can to win, and he is fully not asked about running up scores.
Zero blitzes, on 42-0 up or something.
He's not asked about running the score up, Steve. But secondly, it's Antonio Brown, and you saw what type of love he got from Gruden in Hard Knocks, and he still fucked him over. So let's say you take Antonio Brown at his word and you decide to still bench him. Do they then get the best Brown for the rest of the season if he is cleared of charges? And let's also remember, Steve, and this is hard for us sometimes to do, you are innocent until you're proven guilty.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there's nothing wrong with playing your player when he's still innocent.
Yeah, for sure. It just...
But it is a bad look, and I agree with all of that, but I do think there's more to it. I do think we as people do just assume guilt, and we get it the wrong way around.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a fair point. I just think he's a bit of an arsehole.
Yes. And did you see the other stuff that's come out about him not paying people?
And in the doctor's face.
And all this type of stuff.
The thing is, like, the Patriots didn't need him to win. Didn't he? And again, he's brilliant, and he'll probably win the Super Bowl, and he'll probably be MVP of the season, and fair enough. Then it's worth it, but then
Belichick's not playing for Belichick is playing for the Super Bowl, but he's not just playing for the Super Bowl. He's playing to be remembered for the next 250 fucking years as the greatest head coach, and he's already there, and he's running up the score, and he's showing everyone. And if he's got an opportunity to take Antonio Brown and do back-to-back Super Bowls and do an unbeaten season, that's what he wants.
Again, I just think it's a bad look. But
I do too. I do too.
The Falcons go on the road to Indianapolis, and Indianapolis have been competitive. They're 1-1, 2 1-1 teams. Who have you gone for in this one?
I'm going for the Falcons in this one. I like Matt Ryan. I really do. I think he left a few easy throws there the other
threw it to the other team as well too often.
Yeah, he did. I still
I've
like him.
Atlanta but I'm not confident there. I'll be honest. I think the Colts have been good. I've been impressed. I think Brissett, he had a bad habit of throwing low in the first game again. Maybe something changed, but what he does do, he moves well in the pocket, and that gives you half a chance, doesn't it? And the Falcons have got no pass rush. So I think that at home the Colts could be dangerous there. I think that'll be a close one, but I've gone Falcons as well. Your Vikings host Oakland in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think we're taking the W this time.
Yeah, so do I as well. I've gone for you. Raiders have been good. They kind of ran into a Pat Mahomes 28 points in a quarter buzzsaw, but around that, they were kind of like you guys. One quarter where it just changed the game, but the rest of it they were actually quite decent.
I mean, is it Josh Jacobs there running back?
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
He's boss.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's very, very good. I know. You know, I've got a mate of mine who's an Oakland Raider fan. He's so high on him at the moment and stuff like that. So, I think they're gonna. I've thought all since Hard Knocks that they're gonna be better than people thought. I think they can give teams a run for the money. I do think that coming off the loss last week against you guys, that we're going to have to step it up in our own park, and I think we will do.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'll win as well. Chiefs Ravens, we touched on this before.
Yeah. The
fact that it's at Kansas City again, at the minute...
Arrowhead's such a tough place to go to.
I think I'm just going to pick the Chiefs every week, to be honest, at the moment, because I've never seen quarterbacking like this, ever. It is like, if this happened on Madden, you would call Madden a fix. It's unbelievable. It's just absolutely out of this world. Like, I've never seen anything like it, and you're never going to see anything like it for a long time from anyone else, maybe other than him. He is just playing at a level that the best I saw in terms of this kind of quarterbacking with, you know, the athleticism and the big throws was the Rodgers 2010, 11, 12. That era Rodgers, he's better than that. It is just out of this world good, and I just can't. No one's figured out how to stop him. To beat the Chiefs, you're going to have to get into a boat race and outscore them. New England did it last year, didn't they? Pretty much that kind of thing.
God, it was in the 40s, wasn't it? Was it low 50s?
They had both games. They had the early game where it was like 40s, yeah, and then the playoffs, they win the overtime game, don't they? I think it could be high scoring because again, I really like the Ravens offense, but Pat Mahomes is just like, again, he's almost like the NFL cheat code at the minute. It's phenomenal to watch. It really is just out of this world. It's like 5, 6, 7 throws that just take your breath away. It's absolutely unbelievable. Mate, is he the best? Like, is it as good as you've seen in terms of this style of quarterback?
Yeah,
he isn't the Peyton Manning surgeon.
No, yeah. I mean, I enjoy I enjoy watching, but I don't enjoy watching as much as Peyton Manning.
Yeah, well, because that's the type of game, the tactics and the surge. Yeah, I agree to an extent.
But
I think it takes your breath away, doesn't it?
The mad thing is, you see guys sometimes who are clearly more talented than others, but I've never seen a guy at that position who is that much more talented than everybody else.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Because I don't think, clearly he's got a brain, by the way, and maybe I'm doing him a disservice by talking to him about this, but he doesn't need his brain. His talent is that much, and sometimes you just like, he threw a 65-yard ball in the air the other day off his back foot moving sideways, like, and he's just like,
how do you stop that?
Is that just because his dad was a baseball player, was he? He's obviously was a baseball player, and stuff. The arm strength is absolutely ridiculous from such a slight looking guy as well. Phenomenal.
Lamar's going to eat again against that defense. I think he will. It'll be interesting to see if he runs or passes. I think they're probably going to pass him. I think the Chiefs will want him to pass. I think you've got to. I think if you're going to beat them, I think he can beat you with his arm, but you've got to make him beat you with his arm. Yeah, you can't just let him run for 120 yards like he did the other day. You just can't do it. You've got no chance. It's impossible.
I am giving it all large about the Chiefs and stuff. I have picked the Chiefs on when I did it just before the show. I am going to change to the Ravens.
Okay. I've gone Chiefs as well. I don't think it's a terrible pick. I think I've gone for the home team. If it was the way around, I probably would have picked Baltimore. Green Bay host Denver. Denver, who were on one of the worst losses I've ever seen. So bad. Getting a kick from the last second. It was crazy. The end of that game. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. I don't have to explain. It was crazy. But essentially, they're going to go for two, give a penalty away, gets brought back, miss a PAT, but there's offside, so it goes back again. They take the PAT, they score the PAT, they kick it away, and for some reason, Mitch Trubisky turns into Joe Montana for 10 seconds, and then they get a field goal with 1 second to go, and it's in Mile High, it was always going to go through. Heartbreaking loss for Denver. They're now 0-2. I can't say anything but a Packers win.
No,
I think they might cause issues defensively because we've played two good defenses already, and we're getting a third, and we're getting Vic Fangio, who knows us quite well after scheming against us for the years he did. But I just don't see. I think we'll score 21 again, and I just don't see the Joe Flacco-led offense getting that back. Would you?
No, I agree. Everything you've said there, mate. That isn't quite Fangio's defense yet, is it? Either. Let's be honest.
It was better.
Yeah, it was. But
I mean, Trubisky's awful. By the way, he's still crap. I'm sorry, he just is.
I mean, I kind of liked what he was doing last season and stuff, but he definitely feels like he's regressed.
It's Blake Bortles. That's what he reminds me of. Cardinals host the Panthers. We don't again. At time of we don't know if Cam's playing, but it looks dodgy.
Even the Cardinals have been up and down because Kyler Murray's a rookie and he's going to be up and down.
He's great until the red zone, and there's no red zone offense at all at the moment.
And that's always going to be.
3 field goals inside the 5-yard line the other day. The first time I think it's ever happened. They got to the 5 3 times not to kick 3 field goals. That's the issue in it. When the field condenses, I do wonder maybe if the lack of maybe the defense aren't as scared of him running, so it makes it harder for him. The fact he's little, I think, must have an impact when everything's that condensed.
And close to you.
Yeah, the vision, you see the line of sight.
You just think, if a wide receiver's 30 yards down the field, we don't see him. You know what I mean? If he's 10 yards down the field and there's fucking loads of big
six, it's like a foot bigger than you.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and it's going to be an adjustment for him, isn't it? We've seen loads of quarterbacks with more experience than him and who are taller than him struggle in the red zone.
Yours is shite.
Thanks, mate. Twist that knife. So yeah, but I do think that the Cardinals will win this one.
Okay, I've gone Panthers for now. If Cam is definitely out, I might change it. But for now, even without Cam, I think McCaffrey might have a field day against the Cardinals defense. But again, I'm gonna go Panthers, but I'm not confident. The Bucks host the Daniel Jones New York Giants. We don't really know what we're going to get from the Giants because we haven't seen it, so it's hard to predict. I've gone Tampa anyway, just because I'm going to go home team. And they look pretty good defensively. Todd Bowles' defense actually looks very good. And I don't know what the Giants are, so it's hard to give any analysis because I don't know what they're going to look like yet.
Yeah, I just went Bucks straight off the bat.
It's hard. We can sit here and lie, but we don't know what they're going to look like until we see what their offense is. It's hard, isn't it? The Saints going to Seattle. Teddy Bridgewater going to Seattle.
Seattle.
Should be a good game. Seattle are built for close games. That's what they are designed for close games.
Listen, when it comes down to it and you're a little bit unsure, and I do like the Saints, and everyone knows that, go with the better quarterback. And Russell Wilson's been there and done it, and it's an incredibly tough place to go anyway at the best of times. I still think they'd have given the Saints a game regardless. So now
you've got to. Makes sense. Russell Wilson needs to be careful. Not him, his offensive line again. Pass protection. They got a really good. It's weird. They got a really good left tackle, and the rest of it is just.
I don't know why they even bother with one. Like, why not just put some more fucking receivers on the field and give them fucking a chance of finding a pass?
11 more DK Metcalfs. You could just launch it to them because he's been really good. I've gone Seattle as well. I think with Breeze, I might have gone New Orleans, but like you said, I was on the fence anyway, so now it's kind of right itself. Texans going to LA to face the Chargers.
Close game, tough game, just about Chargers.
I've gone just about Texans because the offense.
Yeah, so I've gone.
It's a race. It's split.
Mine really is based off the fact that Deshaun Watson didn't get me enough points in fantasy last week, and I'm penalising him for it and hoping that he loses.
Okay, that sounds logic. I can't argue that. I think.
And I hold a grudge.
The Chargers are still charging a little bit too much for my liking. Even they got away with it week 1. They didn't get away with that pick for the Rivers throws. Is just you can't do it. It's impossible. I've really liked what I've seen from the Texans' offense. I mean, Jacksonville kind of done a number on them the other day, and they got away with one to an extent. But they still made the play didn't they, when they needed to on defensively? So I think a close game, but I'm going Houston. Niners hosting the Steelers.
Niners are looking good at the moment, aren't they?
The 3-0 Niners,
but again, another surprise, isn't it? I think, we all wondered how he'd come back, Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's come back and he's looking great at the moment. And, again, that offense and, the head coach is...
The Kyle Shanahan offense. This is what it's meant to look like. They've got running backs, they've got lads you've never heard of running for touchdowns. I mean, Jeff Wilson could be anyone. He could be a guy in the street, could be like Plummer. I think he might have been.
But that's what he's done, isn't it? Looking back to the Redskins and, what he did. Oh, who's the guy who went to the Cowboys and all that? Freddie
Morris?
No. Oh, yeah, Alfred Morris, yeah. I mean, that's what he did, and then as soon as he got out of that offence, he was gone.
Yeah. Made Tevin Coleman a bit of money. He can't even get on the field. I agree. I think the Niners are going to win as well. I think they'll carve up. I just don't trust... I don't really care about the offense on the Steelers because it wasn't that much different. It wasn't great with Ben anyway. Defensively, they can't stop anything. And the secondary's there to be got at. And I will trust Kyle Shanahan's got a week now to look at what happened in the Patriots tore them to absolute shreds. The last game, again, the quarterback goes down to an extent, but Seattle was still, DK Metcalf's open a lot. They had players down the field. I think they're going to win as well. San Francisco. Browns-Rams is an interesting one. It's in Cleveland. I don't think it's an easy out for the Rams.
No, I think they'll be... Look, I know they were coming off the back of a good win against...
They were amazing against the Saints, were they?
No, I don't think they were. I think, that game's skewed slightly by the Breeze injury and Cooper Kupp just going all Robocop and running through players for 65 yards or something.
Some of the worst tackling I've ever seen.
It was a joke, but they don't seem to be quite as explosive. They don't seem to...
As fluid. The fluidity there, is it?
It doesn't seem to be at the moment. I think Cook's bounced back well last season. Last game, he puts up some big numbers, but I think maybe that was to do with the fact that he was against a team that he was there for 1 year, did absolutely brilliantly and got let go. There would be a little bit of something there, but I do feel like the Rams are still going to have too much for the Browns. They needed to bounce back last weekend. They did bounce back last weekend, but when it comes down to it, you got Aaron Donald and you've got the likes of Kupp and Woods and Cooks and Gurley and everything else. I just think it's too much talent.
I don't like the Browns line, and I think Aaron Donald's going to have a day. I think he's going to feed because...
Well, the Saints have got a good line, and he had a day.
Yeah. He's unstoppable. That one, the one where he gets Drew Brees' hands, no one touches him.
No.
He kind of swim moves through. It's like...
He's so fast.
It's like he gets the snap count and he's gone, and he's past guards before they react.
They're not even in the stance, are they?
It's incredible how good he is, and I fear that's what the Browns are going to run into again. They can't block. They looked okay against the Jets, but that Jets team, as soon as they've got a backup and he goes down within minutes, that game was done, wasn't it? It was over. And to be fair, they got Odell going a little bit, and they got Chubb going a bit. The Odell touchdown, by the way, some of the worst defensive coverage I've ever seen. I tweeted it out.
Is this the one-handed?
No, that was amazing, but his touchdown, there are 3... Greg Williams at defence here. There are 3 wide receivers, trips left, essentially for the Browns, and the Jets put 2 cornerbacks out there, and then they have someone really deep, like 19 yards off the line of scrimmage.
A safety.
So essentially they've got one guy back. 3 on 2 with one guy back. So what they're essentially saying is, one of you is going to get the ball, and this guy at the back who's 19 yards deep is going to stop you. What they fail to realise is that it's fucking Odell Beckham. You're not going to get... and he just runs towards this. It's easy out, no one's near him, running towards this guy, and he goes, okay, I'll just go that way. And just turns away and just runs up the field, and it was like... It's obviously a blown coverage.
Yeah,
Something's going wrong.
But equally, you know...
But Greg Williams loves that defence. He loves having a 20-yard guy just so far back. He's so far back, he's out the game. And I don't know if he's there to stop the big play. But he's not there he can't stop the big play because Odell fucking Beckham is running at 100 miles an hour. And it's absolute bizarre thing. Sometimes you see something, and mistakes happen and blown coverages happen. But that wasn't a blown coverage to it. That was a plan. He was meant to be there. Greg Williams does this a lot. It's absolutely bonkers, and it never works. I don't know what he's thinking. So I think the Rams are going to win this. Again, I'm talking about the Jets defensive line when I'm on about this game, but I don't think Odell will have the room. I don't think it'll be the Rams will be as badly schemed for that. I mean, I'll be honest. I've got no interest in watching Bears Redskins. It just sounds dull, but I will watch it because it's the NFL and I'm an addict to it. But I've got the Bears going on the road and winning, but I'll be honest,
I've got the Redskins winning.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I think both. It's gonna be. Even just looking at it, it sounds stodgy. The uniforms are going to be stodgy. It's going to be that red and white. It's going to be stodgy football.
It's a low-scoring game. Maybe, maybe a bit like the Texans and the Jags, that type of a scoreline, something like that. Did you win any bets this weekend?
No, I didn't win any bets this weekend. I lost every bet this weekend.
I had a lovely little one.
Go on.
I had a 5-fold on 6 touchdown scorers. So I think I had White, Gurley, just a load of running backs that you'd expect to score. In fact, I'll
you know what I mean? I'll be honest. In my second bet of the day, I had 3 touchdown scores and 2 were in. And the last one I had was Malcolm Brown from the Jets. Sorry, from the Rams. Sorry, Malcolm Brown running back. I thought go line back, he's in, he'll get a chance. And they run him to the 1, and he gets tackled at the 1. And I'm thinking, money, absolute money. And then Goff quarterback sneaks, and I was like, no. And yeah, I got done. So yeah, I lost all my money on my gambling this weekend, which saves me.
That was my one.
So you've gone Dalvin Cook, James White, Saquon Barkley, James Conner, and Todd Gurley. Yep.
And a 5-fold, and obviously Alvin Kamara as well.
You cashed out before Kamara.
No, it's a 5-fold. It wasn't an accumulator.
Oh, right, I see. Yeah.
So I only had to get the 5
of the 6.
5 of the 6 of them. So I got 55 quid off a fiver or something for that. And to be honest, I was thinking I was well more than that, you know what I mean? I'm looking at it going, Breeze goes down, I'm thinking, well, they're just going to use Alvin Kamara.
He will score at some point.
He's got to score at some point. And even like 10 minutes to go in the game, I'm thinking he's going to score here because the quarterback's not going to do the business for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think, have you got any tips for this weekend if you want to share them?
Just bet on running backs.
Yeah, running backs to score.
And James White.
So I had Kelsey, Montgomery and Brown. That one failed because Brown they went for a sneak on the 1 yard line, which I was just absolutely devastated. I was like, why were you doing this to me? And then I done the game before, I picked 6 touchdown scorers and none of them scored. So that was on me. I think one of them might have been Devontae Adams. Yeah, got done. So such is life, don't gamble. Do gamble, it's fun. It's really, really fun.
It matters more when there's money on it. That's somewhere before. It's true, it's good.
Red zone's fun when there's money involved. But gamble responsibly if you are going to gamble.
Absolutely.
Don't do it drunk on red wine.
It's a nice bottle of Chianti, you know. It was lovely. It was a 2012 Chianti. I've had it for a while.
And your bet paid for it, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Winning your bet kind of paid.
Well, no, my bet paid for Link's Awakening on the Switch. Which I've downloaded now, but can't play till the 20th when it comes out.
So thank
you.
I'm
a big Zelda fan, so there you go.
Thanks to James White for helping Chris.
Mate, he's just fucking. If you just need someone to get you the touchdown, it's gonna be James White, mate.
Probably, yeah. You put your life on him, wouldn't you? I hate the Patriots, man. I don't even hate them. I'm just bored of them.
That's it.
I don't dislike them, and all this stuff, like, I saw the Brown stuff come out and they're saying things like, well, this wasn't here till the Patriots. I was like, yeah, you're the victims here, Patriots fans, the Jews. I'm just bored. And it's not because I don't dislike them. I think Brady's the best ever. I like Belichick. I like what he does. I just like... Obviously, I want the Packers to win every year, but if they're not going to, because they're not...
Can it just also not be the Patriots?
Just mix it up for me. It'd be nice for 1 year for that I'm going to be watching the AFC title game and knowing that it's not going to be in New England. But we just know it is. We book it in now. That's where we're going. We'll come back in January to talk about the title game, and that's what I'm a bit fed up with them. Is it just me?
No, everyone's exactly the same. That 2 week period or whatever it is, 2 weeks, isn't it, between the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl is the most boring 2 weeks of the season. You're supposed to look forward to. You're supposed to hear about stories and fellas that you've never heard about before. I used to look forward to every year watching. The day before they bring the programme out about last year's Super Bowl champions.
It's the same fellas.
It's just the same fucking three lads. I think they recorded it 3 years ago and they've just done 3 in case.
America's game, the same fellas. Us again.
Hi lads. And you just see at the end recorded in 2015 in preparation for the next fucking 2 years or something like that.
Yeah,
it's a fucking joke, lad. It's boring as fuck.
I agree.
And I actually haven't watched the America's game this time. It's the first year in maybe 20 years I've not watched it.
Be bothered. Let us know in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the New England Patriots? Patriots fans, tell us why we're wrong. Everyone else, tell us why we're absolutely right. If you're listening to the podcast, you can tweet us at Cover2TV as well. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for subscribing. If you're not subscribing, please do so, it really does help. And we'll be back next week. Ta-ra.